United States Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen says she will press for the International Monetary Fund and World Bank resources at India G20 summit. Yellen highlighted progress on efforts over the past year by the World Bank and other multilateral development banks. She added that additional resources would help tackle climate change, pandemics, and other global crises. The US Treasury Chief also says she will work to strengthen international support for Ukraine at the gathering. British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak arrives in India's capital, New Delhi, ahead of the G20 summit. Sunak had earlier announced his support to alleviate global impact of Putin's weaponization of the Ukraine grain deal. The UK says that global leaders must make it clear that Putin's withdrawal from the Black Sea grain initiative has increased Russia's global isolation. Meanwhile, starting 9th of September, the two-day G20 summit will have the most high-profile guest list India has ever welcomed. Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has arrived in India ahead of the G20 summit. Meanwhile, leaders from Argentina and Italy had arrived in New Delhi earlier today. The two-day summit starting September 9th will see global leaders including UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, US President Joe Biden and Saudi Arabia's Mohammed bin Salman MBS. The leaders are gathering in New Delhi for talks aimed at boosting food security, climate action and debt relief for poor nations. Among issues expected to figure in the G20 talks are Russia's blockade of the passage of grain shipments from Ukraine through the Black Sea, which affects food security in several nations. New Delhi witnessed heavy security on roads and traffic diversions as leaders of member countries of the G20 started to arrive in New Delhi. Starting on 9th of September, the two-day summit will have the most high-profile guest list India has welcomed till date, while Chinese President Xi Jinping has confirmed his absence from the conference. Some of the attendees include UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak and several other world leaders. Security personnel was seen stopping and frisking commuters and also redirecting traffic as several key routes have been blocked for locals. Leaders have started arriving in the host city as preparations for the mega event have entered the final stage. The White House expects to see progress on the GE jet engines and civil nuclear technology in bilateral talks between India and the US. US President Joe Biden and Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi will exchange dialogue at the sidelines of the G20 summit. Earlier this year, the US aerospace unit General Electric signed an agreement with India's state-owned Hindustan Aeronautics Limited to jointly make engines. The machines are to be made in India to power fighter jets for the Indian Air Force. Australia and the Philippines have agreed to hold annual defense ministers' meetings as the two nations upgraded bilateral ties to a strategic partnership. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese signed a strategic partnership agreement with Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos during his trip to Manila. It is the first visit to the Philippines by an Australian leader in 20 years. The Philippines held military exercises near the South China Sea with Australia, its second largest partner in defense security. Ukrainian soldiers attended mountain assault military drills in the country's Zaporizhia region. Experts say mountain assault skills will come in handy when Ukraine reaches Crimea. The brigade uses mountain assault skills not only to capture hard-to-reach areas but also to deliver ammo and supplies to units stationed on inaccessible positions. Now, the war between Russia and Ukraine started on the 24th of February 2022. It has been more than a year and it still continues.
Молодец!
Washington has announced plans to supply Ukraine with depleted uranium munitions to stave off Russian military's offensive. The announcement has drawn fierce condemnation from Moscow. The planned transfer has also raised questions about the possible effects that depleted uranium could have on civilians in Ukraine. US President Joe Biden's administration has defended its decision, with a White House spokesman telling reporters that the ammunition poses no radioactive threat. Russia has denounced the move as an indicator of inhumanity that will cause indiscriminate effects. The Pentagon is positioning some troop and equipment within Niger. It has also announced the withdrawal of a small number of non-essential personnel, making it the first major American military movement in Niger since the coup in July. Now, before the movement, there were about 1,100 troops in the West African country. While the officials declined to give more details on the reason for the repositioning, US troops have trained Niger's forces in counter-terrorism. Washington also conducted drone missions against the Islamic State and the Al-Qaeda affiliate in the region. A New York state judge rejected former US President Donald Trump's bid to delay a scheduled trial in civil fraud lawsuit for overvaluing assets by billions of dollars. Justice Arthur Engoron said that Trump's arguments for a delay were completely meritless. Earlier this year, the judge had also said that the 2nd October trial date would not change come hell or high water. The Attorney General, Letitia James, has said the fraud enabled Trump to inflate his net worth by as much as $2.23 billion. In that context, James is seeking at least $250 million and to bar Trump and his sons from leading their family business. North Korea has launched the country's first operational tactical nuclear submarine. It has been assigned to the fleet that patrols the waters between the Korean Peninsula and Japan. On Wednesday, the North Korean leader Kim Jong-un and high-ranking officials attended the launch ceremony of submarine number 841, named Hero Kim Kun-ok. While it is unclear what missiles the new submarine will be armed with, North Korea's leader Kim Jong-un has promised to transfer more tactical nuclear vessels to the Navy. The Indian Air Force has taken an operational pause in the ongoing exercise Trishul going on in the northern sector of the country. This as the ground-based defenses are on high alert to secure the airspace during the upcoming G20 summit. As per the Indian Air Force, fighter aircraft including Rafale jets will be on standby. The Trishul exercise was being held at the borders of both China and Pakistan. The exercise involved participation from major fighter squadrons including the Rafale, Mirage 2000, Su-30 MKIs. It also deployed heavy lift transport aircraft and helicopters such as Chinook and Apache. Air Force Garud Special Forces were also an active part of the drills. UNICEF has reported the number of migrant children crossing Panama's dangerous Darien jungle in 2023 to be close to over 60,000. According to reports, these many children have risked life and limb to cross the Darien Gap jungle in just the first 8 months of 2023. The excruciating number has made 2023 the year with record child crossings. At least 29,000 children and adolescents crossed the Darien jungle in 2021 and 40,000 children in 2022. The 60-kilometer trek across the Darien Plug attracts migrants to Panama and is a crucial route for those hoping to reach the United States and Canada. Cuban authorities have said that they arrested 17 people on charges related to a ring of human traffickers. The traffickers allegedly lured young Cuban men to serve in the Russian military amid the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war. Now, earlier in the week, Cuba revealed that authorities were working to neutralize and dismantle the network, which it said operated both on Cuban soil and in Russia. As per Cuba's Interior Ministry, of the 17 who have been arrested so far, one is among the internal organizers of this activity. Moderna has said that its updated COVID-19 vaccine will likely be effective against the highly mutated BA.2.86 subvariant of the coronavirus. While the subvariant has raised fears of a resurgence of infections, the company said its shot generated an 8.7-fold increase in neutralizing antibodies in humans. The progress of the shot is being tracked by the World Health Organization and also the US Center for Disease Control and Prevention. Along with this, the CDC has indicated that BA.2.86 may cause more infection in people who previously had COVID or were vaccinated with previous shots. CCTV footage has captured the moment an earthquake measuring 6.4 on the Richter scale hit Chile on the 6th of September. A camera in a residential area of the western city of Coquimbo, near the quake epicenter, showed a residential street jolting due to the quake. Reports suggest the quake was at a depth of 46 kilometers. No victims were reported in the incident. Italy's Alpine Rescue has joined efforts to reach an American man trapped in a Turkish cave. Rescuers rushed to save the man trapped in the third deepest cave in Turkey after he became ill. Around 150 rescuers are involved in a complex operation to save Mark Dickey, who was part of a research team in Morka Valley. The rescue operation was first announced on the 4th of September. A fugitive killer has eluded a manhunt by Pennsylvania police after he escaped a prison by scaling its wall. The authorities in Westchester have stepped up the search for the convicted murderer. Danilo Cavalcante, who is originally from Brazil, escaped the Chester County prison on 31st of August. A number of reported sightings placed the fugitive in a heavily wooded rural area about 3 kilometers from the prison. He was convicted for murdering his former girlfriend and was sentenced to life in prison. Pennsylvania State Police has warned that the fugitive is considered dangerous. Pakistan continues to grapple with relentless rise in terror attacks in the restive northwestern region. Now, a video has surfaced online showing Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan chief Noor Wali Mahsood giving directions over a walkie-talkie to militants orchestrating the attack in Chitral, near Afghanistan border. 4 Pakistani soldiers were killed in the terror attack, while 12 TTP militants were also gunned down. In the video, TTP member Noor Wali Mahsood claims he is overseeing the attack, and the clip marks his first appearance since January. Ahead of the G20 summit, hundreds of stray dogs that roam the streets of the Indian capital are being rounded up and moved to shelters by the authorities. As per Municipal Corporation of Delhi, more than 234 dogs have been picked up so far. According to government data, the National Capital Territory of Delhi has more